Good day, my beautiful little butterflies. What a day it has been. I am so grateful you're here and have chosen to join me today for this video. I fully trust there's a reason that you clicked it. And today's message is for the Twin Flame Collective. And, a lot of messages have actually been coming through for the Twin Flames, which, really isn't a big surprise because it really is a potent time to be here on Earth at this moment. So if you resonate with being in the Twin Flame Collective, what a brave soul you are. You're actually a part of a very special collective of people who chose to go on this not so easy journey to learn all about your own individual sovereignty while also maintaining a relationship with someone else. So for today's message, I set the intention to bring clarity to someone, but I left it open as far as what could come through. Now, in yesterday's message, we learned what part of the Divine Masculine Collective was feeling, and in today's message, the Divine Feminine showed up. So when I meditated this morning, I saw a beautiful ballerina, and she was exactly how you would picture a ballerina. Now, she was off stage, and it was about time for her to go on. She was behind a curtain, and she was ready. Okay, she had been practicing. She felt empowered. She was ready to go. Now, on the stage was one single man sitting in a chair in the center of the stage, and he was grinning because he wasn't quite sure what to expect with this whole experience. And so the ballerina was cued, and she came out from behind the curtain and she headed out to the stage. And she was quite shocked actually to see her masculine sitting there in that chair. Now, when she first came on stage, she made these gorgeous moves and she was very confident after she was cued. But once she got to her masculine, she started doing these tiptoe movements all around him. She never could fully rest, and she was spending quite a bit of energy tiptoeing around him. Now, her performance was beautiful and the audience loved it. But what they didn't realize is the ballerina was never supposed to do those moves. And although she had a different scenario planned in her mind, what came out was this actual performance. So if you resonate with the Divine Feminine in the Twin Flame Collective, I want you to take a moment and put yourself in the ballerina's shoes. It feels like this vision was speaking about a specific group of Divine Feminines, and when they want to bring up some type of conversation to their masculine counterpart. So it seems when this ballerina or this feminine is alone, she feels quite confident and safe enough to bring something up to her masculine. Like it would be absolutely no problem at all to bring this up, whatever it may be. But it's like when the masculine enters the picture and she brings up the topic, she is introduced to his energy. And this particular Divine Feminine is sensitive and empathetic. And so if this is you that I am channeling, it's like you can pick up on others' energy regardless if you want to or not, and especially your masculine's energy. This is such a strong connection, and you are bonded with this person through multiple lifetimes. So of course it makes sense that you pick up on his energy so easily. So it seems like when this divine feminine wants to speak her truth about a certain thing, she starts feeling the masculine's energy, and she has to start tiptoeing around in the conversation. It's like she has to put things a certain way or be strategic in the way that she talks, because she wants to be heard, but also doesn't want to upset the masculine or cause more problems for herself. So it's like she's totally confident to speak when she thinks about it. But when the masculine actually shows up, she has to change how she communicates the idea. It's almost as though she has to walk on eggshells, because she doesn't know if she will trigger this masculine or not. But it kind of seems unfair, because this masculine doesn't always reciprocate this walking on eggshells. It feels like this masculine says things, and it doesn't matter necessarily if it triggers this divine feminine. So if this is you, I know it has to be frustrating. It takes up a lot of your energy to play chess in a conversation with your masculine. And your guides want you to know that you are heading towards a version of yourself where you no longer will worry about tiptoeing around other people's feelings as not to upset them. You will be in your sovereign power to speak what is true to you, no exceptions. And if it offends or triggers someone, it will not matter, because you are being authentic. Even though you have gone a long, long way on this healing journey, and this is still happening, your guides want you to know that you will get there. You're not expected to be perfect. So take time and reflect why you don't feel comfortable just saying what you need to say in the way that you need to say it. And as I'm actually speaking this, I hear someone's guide saying, it's not just in conversation that this is happening. So it seems like a particular divine feminine feels like she's walking on eggshells when she has to do something. And of course, this will be different for each person, but it's like this masculine doesn't approve of something that you do, even though it doesn't really negatively affect him. So you quite literally have to walk on eggshells so he doesn't know or find out. And I just saw a visual of someone doing something, and then the masculine arrives home, and this feminine hurried up and hid whatever she was doing. So there could be some lingering judgment as well from this masculine. But whatever it is, your guides assure you that it's okay that you're doing this. You don't fully feel safe. And in my mind's eye, I'm seeing an overlap with someone's childhood where they didn't fully feel safe and had to hide things from their parents. You are really accepting feminine, whoever I'm speaking to. So you know what it's like to not fully be accepted for all of the parts of you. So your guides really want you to know that you will grow into all of the parts of yourself and will stand strong and be unwaveringly authentic. I see a tall, tall tree standing so strong, but it doesn't get there in one day. It takes trial and error. But I will say this, I feel like this divine feminine, whoever I'm channeling, has actually done things to become more authentic. At one point in your life, you hid a lot of parts about yourself and opened up to very few, if any, other people. Very, very few people. But slowly you have gotten to a place where you stand strong and you show these quirky things about yourself. Now, the masculine in this particular dynamic still is on his journey too. And he has to heal the parts of him that are not allowing you to fully feel safe. But it's not always so easy because he has traumas too that are causing him to make you feel unsafe because he actually feels unsafe. Your authenticity can be seen as a threat to him because he's not being authentic. The whole twin flame experience has a learning curve. You learn as you go in this dynamic. So in order to come into full union, you do have to both be fully authentic while still allowing the other person to feel safe. But because of the traumas you individually experience separate from one another, so this happened way before you even met, or it's still happening in other dynamics separate from yourself, it stops this authenticity from being fully present. And I just saw 11:11 on the timer. So one thing that helped me when I was at this place on my journey was to actually put myself in a balloon before I spoke to my masculine. And so you can use any visual that you want to. But before my masculine would come home, and if I knew I had something really important I needed to say, I would meditate and put myself in a balloon. Now, I changed the color, so if I needed to be grounded while speaking, I did a red balloon to represent the root chakra. If I needed to speak well, I would use a blue balloon for the throat chakra. If I needed to be in my heart, I used a green balloon for the heart chakra. You get the point. But by being in this balloon, his energy couldn't reach me and affect me. I'd always tie the balloon. I did have plenty of oxygen, but I always made sure I was in this like bubble or balloon. I was in a totally different container than him. But the balloon was still translucent enough that I could see him and hear him, but strong enough to withhold any of the energies that he was feeling. So I felt guided to share that, and I hope it really does help someone. Now, this technique is not going to work every single time because there will be times where you're caught off guard and you won't have time for the meditation prior to communicating with your masculine. But that's okay because the balloon meditation builds up strength as you go, or any meditation where you put a protection against yourself to be able to talk to someone so you don't feel their energy. And if any of you that are in this twin flame collective and you have used any type of technique to be able to communicate with your masculine without absorbing his energy, then I would love to hear what you did to be able to not absorb his energy. And so if you could just share it below for all the girlies that are going through it at the moment. Because even though different couples in a twin flame relationship are at different points on this journey, we've all been through certain things. And one thing that you go through in this journey is learning to speak and to do things that align with your full and authentic truth. We are all in this together, even though we aren't at the same exact points. So before I wrap up this message, I was feeling quite creative earlier, so I painted a little bit earlier, and I actually need to go grab my bag. I decided to paint each letter of the alphabet on some tiles that I had, and then I put them in a little bag. So I want to use them, as I was quite excited. I was feeling so good to paint. So I got my tiles. I should have had them ready, but I am going to draw some tiles with letters on them, so only take what resonates. I just grabbed a handful out. So let's see what actually came out. I'm going to just lay them right here on the table. Okay, I got a C, an A D, a J, and an M. So those letters may resonate for someone in this collective today. And I do want to thank you for all the hard work that you have put into your healing journey, my divine feminines. You are absolutely here for a reason. You will be able to help so many people in this collective once you go through this twin flame journey. So I thank you for helping the collective as well as helping me co-collaborate this message today. We need people like you here in this world. Mwah.